Welcome to another Sad Boys book review. My name is Dusty, and today I'll be covering Scythe by Neal Shusterman. It is the first novel in the I think it's called the Scythe trilogy. I don't remember what the name of the series is itself. Yeah, the Scythe trilogy. I think this is a YA novel. Came out, I think it was in the 2010s. I'd never heard of it. My wife actually suggested it as a book that her and I could read together back in April. But we started it. We read it once in April, and it basically went untouched until end of November, and then I finished it end of December. Yeah. Like I said, I had no clue what it was. I'd never heard of it. I just kind of bought it at her recommendation because she was interested in it and wanted to try and read it together. And it was good. It was surprisingly good. Well, maybe not surprisingly, but with having no knowledge or context to it, I wasn't really sure what to expect, and I ended up really enjoying it. Very, very engaging story. The general premise is it is in the future, and humanity has attained immortality. Death has been completely eliminated. There is an AI that runs the. I don't know if it's the world. I think it's the world government. I think that's how it works. Is it runs the world government. There is ostensibly world peace. It's the closest thing you can really think to of like a somewhat. I don't want to say a utopia as you could get, but it's I think it's supposed to be seen as a utopia, but I mean you'll learn that there's more behind the scenes than meets the eye of the way that the world is. But what the Scythes are they are the Grim Reapers of this modern society, trying to ostensibly keep the population in check, like the total population. So like they have it's just a group of people who have the ability to commit a final death to a person, and just keep the population in line. It's they have rules and guidelines, so they can't just go and kill indiscriminately, and it's a whole thing. And the book follows two different characters, Citra and Rowan, who are two high school students, because YA, that have been chosen to become a Scythe, one of the next generation of Scythe, and both of them are a little hesitant to that idea, and the book just kind of follows the two of them through that whole process. And yeah, like I said, it was I don't want to say surprisingly good, because it's not like I went in there thinking, oh, this book's gonna suck. I did a cursory kind of lookup of it after like buying it, and people were like, this is a good book, and I'm like, okay, I'm sure I'll like it. I guess it was more so I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. That might be I guess a more fair way to say it, because I mean I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. It was very well written for the genre. Neal Shusterman, talented dude. Really talented dude. This is the first book of his I've ever read. I'd never heard of the dude prior to this. Apparently he has another really popular series that he wrote, I think, before the Scythe trilogy. But yeah, I mean, it was a cool book. It was very well written. I thought personally it was a bit predictable, but like not the Daniel and I in the Sad Boys book club, we'll talk about something being predictable and how that's not an indictment. That's very much how I feel about saying that Scythe was predictable. It's not an indictment on it. It's where if you're paying attention, you might be able to kind of pick some things out and be like, oh, I think this is how it's going to go. And then later on, you're like, oh, that is how it's going to go. And you're like, and it's one of those like, oh, cool, awesome, okay, well done. Well, it's like it's a nod to the author. You're like, good job with that. All right, cool. So yeah, there were a couple of things that I saw coming. I guessed correctly, and it worked. It doesn't diminish anything. It worked. So that's credit to that. It was good character writing. I enjoyed both the leads. I enjoyed the main Scythe characters. The main, there's a couple. You encounter a lot of different Scythes in the book, and The more important ones I thought were really well done. The main one I thought was a really cool character. I really enjoyed their interactions. So very good character writing. It was interesting because the pacing was it was pretty standard, like pretty consistent throughout. I never really felt like at any point in time it was rushing or dragging. But like things did come to a head pretty quickly. There are like a couple of times where there's like a major conflict, and I guess I don't know. I don't want to say like you feel like it's going to be bigger than it is, because it's not like they were necessarily small conflicts, but like they do get wrapped up a little quicker than I would have guessed personally. But it's fine. There's one particular plot point that gets wrapped up really easily that I wasn't really. I feel like it wasn't completely earned. I feel like there needed to be a little more of, I guess, a stake involved in it, to make it feel like it was an earned conflict resolution instead of it just being like, okay, I'm going to go resolve this. It's resolved, and that's that. I think it still works at the end of the day. It was still fine. It wasn't, I guess, the biggest deal. It was more of a plot device kind of conflict than anything else, which I guess does kind of... I feel like I need to kind of take off a couple of points because of that, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It honestly really wasn't. But it was a solid story. I finished it. I went on a crazy pace at the end of it. When I finished it, I was reading it for... It's like over 2.5 hours. And according to Bookly, my page count, which these pages were pretty small, it's kind of similar to Into the Wild, where it was like the pages were pretty smaller than like an average page in terms of word count. So you could it was a page turner in that sense that you're reading less words per page than a normal book. So my numbers on Bookly might be a little inflated because of that alone, but that being said, my pace in that final like 3.5 to 3 hour session was like 73 pages an hour. I really got into it at the end and was just zooming through it. So, you know, you've written a good book when you can really draw your reader in like that and have them just commit to the rest of it. Which part of it also was because I really wanted to get it finished, because I think it was December 29th when I finished it, and I was trying to finish all of my outstanding books for 2024. So that was also part of the reason, but I wanted to finish it too. I wasn't like, I have to finish this. It's, I want to finish this. I was having such a good time reading it. So, yeah. That probably is, without going into spoilers, all I can really say about this book. It was good. I recommend it. I'm giving Scythe an 8 out of 10. If you're still into YA, which you don't have to be YA to still be into YA, you can be an adult. It's fine. Don't feel bad about it. Good book. A good book is a good book, regardless of what age group it's written for. Give it a try. It was a entertaining book, and I'm really excited to read the second one. I don't know when I'm going to, but when I do, I'm sure I'm going to really enjoy it, because the first book was very fun, very interesting, very enjoyable, and I can only assume that with the quality of writing that Neal Shusterman had in that first book, it's only going to maintain in books 2 and 3. So I'm looking forward to it whenever it is I get to it. Don't know when it's going to be, but I know it'll be good when I do. So yeah, that'll do it for this one. So thank you everybody for listening, and I will see you next time.